Welcome back to Extra Man Open Lacrosse. If you're emo, comment down below. Before we get into our predictions and previews for these games, I would like to cover one thing real quick. I've seen a lot of comments just on social media and on YouTube about the disappointment in, I guess, the competitiveness of some of these games early on. In week one, we had a lot of pretty much blowouts, manhandlings, whatever you want to call them, in the PLL. And the PLL layout right now, I think, is kind of in three separate tiers. In tier one, you got the Whipsnakes, Cannons, Archers, Redwoods. These are the teams that, like, yes, you could see winning it all. And then tier two, you have the Chrome, who are like just outside of that tier one, but are itching on in. And then the Chaos, who are solidified in that tier two. And then tier three, the Water Dogs and the Atlas. I think the main problem is the scheduling. Like, we're not getting all these good games in one weekend. Like, we're not getting the best matchups early. I think that's going to start to change as the season goes on, but I just wanted to address that real quick. So let's get into week two. PLL got some good games. I think that we could have some good matchups, better, more competitive games this week than last week, but let's get into it. First, we have Chaos and the Water Dogs. So 7 p.m. Eastern Time Friday, which is when I'm recording today. It's a shame because this game could be way more fun if Michael Sowers were able to play for the Water Dogs. Like, this could be more of a better matchup, and I think that the Water Dogs could have probably had a better shot at winning this game. Definitely. Not probably. Definitely, because Michael Sowers is that good. I don't necessarily have much faith in the Water Dogs to win without Sowers. I'm just going to be totally blunt and honest here. Dylan Ward has to step up. I believe Ward actually backed up Blaze Reardon in the past, so that's kind of an interesting storyline there. At face-off, maybe Jake Withers could have the advantage, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to actually get the win here. To me, the Water Dogs are going to fall short to the Chaos, and a lot of people are coming out of last week thinking that the Chaos are bad. I don't think that they're bad. They're just not good enough to beat the Whipsnakes, and they played the Whipsnakes week one, probably the best team in the league. So, yeah, I think the Chaos get the win here, their first of the season. Next up, speaking of Whipsnakes, we got Cannons versus Whipsnakes. This one is 12 p.m. Eastern Time on a Saturday. This, to me, is by far the game of the week. Now, from a league perspective, the league needs the Cannons to win here. It just makes sense if the Cannons win here. You got a couple storylines coming in. First, Cannons, the new team on the block. They're providing more depth. They're now one of the better teams, like, in the league just off of week one. They have Lyle Thompson. They have some stars. Paul Rabel's looking great early in his first two games. Now you got Chris Hogan making his first game, and I just think that the Cannons also are new hope for more better teams in the league, and I think the league really needed this. So if the Cannons could get the win here, it changes the narrative of the league, makes it more competitive. Lyle Thompson, to me, he gets the eyes, but Andrew Q gets the prize here. I think Q is going to be kind of let open because everybody's looking at Lyle Thompson. Paul Rabel on the midfield has been going off, and Q has quietly been garnering up these points, and I love what Andrew Q brings to the table. I just can't get enough of him. But yeah, Lyle Thompson's dominant. Super fun game we're going to have here. Chris Hogan, if he plays well, it's a win for the sport because you got more media coverage on it, and it's just going to be more fun. If he doesn't play well, it's also a win for the sport because, first of all, you got all the media coverage, and second of all, lacrosse is a hard sport. This shows that, it takes a lot of skill. You can't just take a break and get back into it. So either way, people are wanting to make it on both sides. This is a win-win for the sport, having Hogan back in. The whips are loaded. I think that Nardella will control the pace of the game at the face-off X. And to be quite frank, it's going to be hard to stop this whips offense. Listen, I want the Cannons to win just for the league, just for fun. I've started to really like the Cannons. Like, I don't really have loyalty for a team, but I think I'm starting to make my loyalty go towards the Cannons just because they're so much fun. I love their uniforms too. I just think that the Whipsnakes are too much, but the Cannons can make this really close. Redwoods versus Atlas, 3 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday. So after we get, like, the game of the week, we get Redwoods versus Atlas. This one could get ugly and ugly early. The Redwoods are completely stacked everywhere. The key matchup here will be the two Denver face-off foes in TD and Trevor Baptiste. TD had tons of help from his wing play. I think a lot of people are kind of discounting that. This could actually go towards Trevor Baptiste, but that's not enough. I mean, this team is just too loaded, and the Atlas have way too many problems. I don't see how the Atlas can compete here. Got to go with the Redwoods in this one. Then we have Chrome versus Water Dogs, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. At first glance, you think Chrome, but Jordan Wolf is out, and that's huge. We already mentioned Sowers earlier. He'll be out for the Water Dogs, so two really, really talented players out for both teams, which just really stinks. You want to see these teams at full health playing each other, no matter what sport, no matter what game. This game could be, although a lot closer than people think. If the Water Dogs fall to 0-2 at this point, there could be a lot of motivation to go out and win here. I feel like this matchup will be fun. On paper, the Chrome are better, but if the Water Dogs can get more shots on goal, have better goalie play, they can compete. Ultimately, I do have, though, the Chrome. I think the midfield especially could pop off this game with McIntosh, who took 9 shots versus the Redwoods last week. Justin Gutterding probably going to have to step up at the attack. I just trust the Chrome here more against the Water Dogs. But if Michael Sowers were playing, we could have a different story. Then at 3:45 Eastern time, we have the Chaos and the Archers. The Archers are so much fun to watch. Oh my goodness gracious. They feel like the Redwoods. They feel like the Whip Snakes. They're in that tier. They feel loaded. And the production comes from everybody on the attack and midfield line. I love everyone. My favorite player is Mazzone, though. He rocks the 2-bar and he goes all out. The bottom line is that the Chaos don't have enough to me. They do not have enough to stop this offense, and especially along the defense, and then they don't have enough to keep up. So this one is kind of clear cut and dry for me. Chaos maybe come up with an upset here, but I don't believe this Chaos defense can stop the Archers. However, they decide to attack, and then I don't think that they can put up enough points. No matter how good the goalie play is, no matter how many face-off wins they get, the Archers are just loaded. I'd love to know your opinions down below. What are your predictions for this week? Thanks for watching EMO. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.